Think about your favorite musicians, the famous ones you love to hear on the radio or see in concerts. Behind all the fame and excitement, some of them had relationships with the Mafia. This mix of glamour and hidden deals makes their stories really fascinating. Amidst the bright lights, these artists' narratives take on an enigmatic hue as they navigate the intricate web of fame and covert alliances, blurring the boundaries between glamour and the clandestine. Frank Sinatra. First up is Frank Sinatra, the iconic crooner actor and elder statesman of the Rat Pack, led a life that was as captivating off stage as it was on. Behind the scenes, a shadowy connection emerged, one that intertwined him with the world of organized crime. Sinatra's fame, charisma, and associations made him a subject of interest not only to his adoring fans, but also to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. The FBI maintained a watchful eye on Sinatra for more than 4 decades, accumulating thousands of pages of information about his actions, words, and even his friendships. Following Sinatra's passing in 1998, these once confidential files were made public, offering a captivating glimpse into his tempestuous journey through life, a journey he famously undertook his way. Sinatra's rise to prominence during the 1940s drew the attention of the FBI due to allegations that he had paid a doctor to declare him medically unfit for World War II service. Though the FBI ultimately dismissed these claims, attributing his exemption to legitimate health issues, rumors of draft dodging lingered, casting a shadow over his career in the late 1940s. While Sinatra's reason for avoiding military service might have held up under scrutiny, his relationships with known members of the Mafia and a cast of characters connected to the criminal underworld were not as pristine. His FBI dossier reads like a guide to the prominent organized crime figures of the era. Despite Sinatra's persistent denial of ties to the mob, he did share connections with renowned Mafia personalities, such as Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana, with whom he maintained a close friendship. It's said that Sinatra introduced Giancana to John F. Kennedy's 1960 presidential campaign, aiming to secure Union votes for the future president. In return, Sinatra performed at Giancana's Chicago Club. He also introduced Kennedy to Judith Campbell Exner, Giancana's girlfriend, leading to a lengthy affair that allegedly involved Exner acting as a go-between for Kennedy and Giancana, even regarding a plot to assassinate Fidel Castro. Sinatra's connections extended beyond Giancana to a network of mafioso acquaintances, many of whom appear in his FBI files. The documentation describes interactions, including gift exchanges, with individuals such as Joseph and Charles Fischetti, brothers linked to illegal gambling activities. Sinatra's presence at events tied to mobsters and even the exertion of Mafia influence to free him from a contractual obligation further illustrate his association with the criminal world. Despite the evidence of these connections, Sinatra was never criminally charged in relation to his Mafia ties. He showcased his friendships with underworld figures openly, frequently posing for photographs alongside known mobsters. Interestingly, in 1950, Sinatra offered his services as an informant to J. Edgar Hoover, likely an attempt to distance himself from rumors of mob involvement. However, the FBI declined his offer, distancing themselves from him instead. Sinatra's FBI files reveal another layer of scrutiny directed at him, his political affiliations. The documents detail his involvement in progressive causes, anti-racist initiatives, and his support for individuals accused of communist ties during the McCarthy era. Despite the absence of any evidence indicating unlawful activities, these files demonstrate the government's perception of Sinatra as a potential threat due to his outspoken views. The FBI's focus on Frank Sinatra extended beyond his personal life, encompassing incidents that targeted him and his family. Given his towering celebrity status, Sinatra often found himself in the crosshairs of extortion and blackmail attempts. This reality took a harrowing turn in 1963 when his son, Frank Sinatra Jr., was kidnapped by 3 men. The FBI orchestrated a strategy, advising Sinatra to await a ransom demand, pay it, and subsequently enable the tracking of both the money and the culprits. Although Frank Sinatra Jr. was eventually released, the kidnappers' evasive behavior led to their capture and subsequent convictions. Aware of the FBI's scrutiny, Sinatra proactively took steps to understand the extent of their surveillance. In 1979 and 1980, he utilized the Freedom of Information Act to request and receive his own FBI file. While this endeavor did not result in legal repercussions, it underscored the sway and influence wielded by the charismatic performer. His FBI dossier, though peppered with references to his association with questionable figures, also showcased his advocacy against racism and in support of democratic ideals. Sinatra's professional achievements did not escape the FBI's radar either. Interestingly, his file kicks off not with details of his ties to the Mafia, but with a complaint regarding the shrill whistling sound generated by his adoring fans. An anonymous informant expressed concerns that certain individuals could manipulate mass hysteria to introduce produce a Hitler-like figure in America, citing Sinatra's positive influence as a potential conduit for such a phenomenon. Sinatra's allure was broad-ranging. His magnetism captivated both conspiracy theorists and fervent admirers alike. Throughout his career, as he continued to mesmerize audiences with his voice, the FBI remained as attentive as his most dedicated fans, attesting to the enigmatic charisma that defined Frank Sinatra's legacy. Madonna. In the late 1990s, the intriguing intersection of the pop music world and the underworld became apparent when the paths of pop icon Madonna and nightclub entrepreneur Chris Paciello crossed. Madonna, a global superstar renowned for her boundary-pushing music and provocative image, and Chris Paciello, a rising figure in Miami's nightlife scene with ties to the Mafia, formed an unlikely connection that captured the media's attention. Chris Paciello's association with the Mafia is often a significant part of his story. Born and raised in Brooklyn, he became embroiled in the criminal world at a young age, eventually forming ties with the Bonanno crime family. He was involved in various criminal activities, including robberies and extortion, that drew law enforcement attention. Later, Paciello's life took a turn when he relocated to Miami and rose to prominence as a nightclub entrepreneur during the 1990s. He played a pivotal role in shaping the city's nightlife scene, notably founding the famed nightclub Liquid. His success brought him wealth and fame, drawing celebrities and socialites to his venues. However, Paciello's ties to the criminal underworld caught up with him, and in 2000, he was arrested for his involvement in a robbery that led to a murder. He eventually cooperated with law enforcement, providing information about his criminal associates. This cooperation led to a reduced sentence. During his time in Miami, Chris Paciello's paths crossed with pop icon Madonna. The two were rumored to have had a romantic relationship during the 1990s. This connection between a high-profile musician and a nightclub entrepreneur added another layer of intrigue to both of their lives. Madonna, as one of the most iconic artists in modern history, needs little introduction. Born Madonna Louise Ciccone, she rose to fame in the 1980s with her boundary-pushing music, provocative image, and trailblazing performances. Throughout her career, Madonna has consistently challenged societal norms and pushed artistic boundaries, becoming a symbol of empowerment and self-expression. Her relationship with Chris Paciello, albeit a relatively short-lived one, brought media attention and speculation. Paciello had gained renown in Miami within just 5 years of his arrival, owning some of the city's hottest nightclubs, restaurants, and properties. He counted celebrities like Sean Puffy Combs, Hugh Hefner, and Donald Trump among his friends, and his relationships with women like Sofia Vergara, Jennifer Lopez, and Madonna were frequently in the media spotlight. The charges against Paciello shook South Beach, with many initially believing he had left his troubled past behind. Despite his troubled youth, he was seen as a positive force in Miami, involved in charity work and helping individuals overcome their challenges. However, as the months went by, it became evident that the government's prosecutors weren't convinced of Paciello's transformation. They alleged that he used mob tactics to threaten business rivals, bribed an undercover officer to arrest a competitor, and paid a mafia contact to intimidate a witness. There were even claims that some of his businesses were funded with illicit money. Amid these revelations, Paciello's wealthy and famous friends distanced themselves. Only his grandfather and aunts offered support during his court appearances. Today, Paciello resides under 24-hour guard in Staten Island, his every move monitored. Despite the controversy surrounding his criminal past, Paciello's Miami friends are conflicted about the person they knew. Some acknowledge his business acumen and personal charm while grappling with the gravity of the charges against him. The enigmatic journey of Chris Paciello, a tale of rise, fall, and the intertwining of two disparate worlds, reflects the complexity of human lives entangled with the allure of fame, fortune, and crime. P. Diddy. In the world of hip-hop and entertainment, few names shine as brightly as that of Sean P. Diddy Combs. An icon whose influence spans far beyond the realm of music, P. Diddy has crafted a legacy that merges creative genius with astute business acumen. His journey from the streets to the spotlight, marked by groundbreaking achievements and visionary entrepreneurship, captures the essence of the American dream. As we delve into his story, we'll not only uncover the rise of a cultural icon, but also explore the unexpected connections that have intertwined his life with the enigmatic world of organized crime. Sean P. Diddy Combs emerged from the bustling streets of Harlem, a neighborhood that molded his character and fueled his ambition. From a young age, he exhibited an unyielding passion for music and a determination to transcend his circumstances. These qualities drove him to embark on a path that would lead to global recognition. P. Diddy's journey began as a talent director at Uptown Records, where he played a pivotal role in launching the careers of artists like Mary J. Blige and Joe Dacey. One of the most controversial figures in modern hip-hop, P. Diddy has had beef in the past with the the biggest names in hip-hop like Eminem, Drake, and many more. However, no one can deny the level of success he has reached, with his Bad Boy Records label having a major stake in one of the biggest beefs in rap history between West and East Side rappers during the 90s. However, one unexpected angle of P. Diddy is his connections with the Mafia. The unexpected connection between hip-hop mogul Sean P. Diddy Combs and Gambino gangster Andrew Campos sheds light on the intriguing interplay between fame, friendship, and the shadowy world of organized crime. Their journey, from high school football teammates to their divergent paths, offers a unique glimpse into the complex intersections of two vastly different lives. Sean P. Diddy Combs, a name synonymous with hip-hop royalty, emerged as a multifaceted entrepreneur whose influence extended far beyond the realm of music. With an annual income reaching a staggering $300 million, P. Diddy's ascent to success was marked by his role as the CEO of Bad Boy Worldwide Entertainment. Beyond the music industry, he delved into various business ventures, including his own clothing lines, and even ventured into the realm of wireless service provision. P. Diddy's ability to not only dominate the charts, but also diversify his interests solidified his reputation as a savvy businessman and cultural icon. In contrast, Andrew Campos's path took a turn that led him into the realm of organized crime. With a surname that belied his Italian heritage, Campos was inducted into the Gambino crime family. His involvement in telecommunications provided him with opportunities to partake in fraudulent activities that contributed to the largest consumer fraud in American history. This intricate web of schemes involving phone sex and internet pornography came at a significant cost to unsuspecting consumers. Despite these divergent paths, P. Diddy and Campos maintained a lasting friendship that spanned decades. Their bond was attested by alumni from Mount St. Michael Academy, where they had once played side by side on the football field. Additionally, law enforcement sources and court records offered further insight into their enduring connection. Reports emerged that Campos and his fellow mob associates occasionally attended P. Diddy's recording sessions as guests. This seemingly unlikely pairing bridged the worlds of entertainment and organized crime, highlighting the complex relationships that can develop in unexpected circumstances. Gangland's report on Campos's indictment shed light on the influence of their friendship, as well as the intricate communications within the world of organized crime. Interestingly, P. Diddy's connection with Campos did not lead to allegations of wrongdoing on his part. Despite his own meteoric rise in the entertainment industry, P. Diddy managed to straddle two worlds, maintaining his connection to his roots while achieving global success. His willingness to support Campos's ventures, such as visiting Campos's friend's restaurant in Harlem, showcased his loyalty to his friends and the neighborhood that shaped him. Jimmy Roselli. In the realm of Italian-American crooners, Jimmy Roselli emerged from the streets of Hoboken, New Jersey, a city that also famously birthed Frank Sinatra. Yet unlike Sinatra, Roselli's journey wasn't just a melodious ascent to stardom. It was a battle to escape the shadows cast by a legend and navigate the intricate connections to the world of organized crime. Within the pages of Red Love, the tale of Roselli unfolds as a portrait of an artist compelled to rise above his circumstances. Born as Vincenzo Roselli on December 26, 1925, his early years were painted with struggle and hardship. Raised in the heart of Hoboken's Little Italy by his grandfather, a non-English speaking longshoreman, Roselli's upbringing was far from glamorous. The narrative traces Roselli's path from the tenements of his youth to the dimly lit dives where he first shared his remarkable voice with the world. His deep, resonating tones were a reflection of his Neapolitan roots, an essence that spoke directly to the hearts of his audience. Yet it wasn't until his late 30s that Roselli's star began to ascend. His hits like Mala Femina, Innamorata, and the cherished classics such as Little Pal and When Your Old Wedding Ring Was New finally launched him into the limelight. However, Roselli's story is far from a conventional tale of musical triumph. The haunting presence of the Mafia lingers in the background, casting a dramatic shadow over his rise. Evanier narrative delves deep into the complexities of Roselli's relationship with the underworld. Associating with figures like Sam Giancana and performing at John Gotti Jr.'s wedding, Roselli found himself entangled in a world that demanded more than just his vocal talents. The reluctance to yield to the demands of organized crime resulted in battles of both business and emotion. Amidst the quotes and perspectives from those who crossed paths with Roselli, the pages come alive with the vivacity of Italian-American life and the music that was its soundtrack. Jimmy Roselli, often hailed as the other Sinatra, carved his own path in the world of music and entertainment. His vocal talents were considered by many to rival those of Frank Sinatra himself. Yet despite his remarkable abilities, Roselli's journey was distinct, marked by both success successes and setbacks that set him apart. Roselli's star power was undeniable, with some even arguing that his vocal prowess surpassed that of Old Blue Eyes. However, he never quite achieved the same level of fame and recognition, largely due to his falling out with the Mafia. Roselli's captivating performances had garnered him a substantial following within organized crime circles. Yet, his refusal to share his club earnings led to tensions and eventually made him enemies within the underworld. While external factors certainly played a role in Roselli's journey, self-sabotage also cast a shadow over his career. His potential seemed limitless. Roselli had committed to 7 appearances on the iconic Ed Sullivan Show, but surprisingly quit after just 3 shows. He also turned down opportunities to appear on The Tonight Show and even a role in the legendary film The Godfather 2. Despite these missed opportunities, Roselli's artistic prowess was unquestionable. A self-taught performer, he exuded passion in his performances, seamlessly switching between English and Italian with a flawless Neapolitan accent. Roselli was a fixture at renowned nightclubs like the Copacabana in Manhattan, and his presence graced both Broadway stages and the legendary Carnegie Hall. Even Hollywood recognized Roselli's impact. Martin Scorsese featured his signature tune Mala Femina in the iconic film Mean Streets, adding to Roselli's cultural footprint. Remarkably, Roselli's career persisted until almost the age of 80, a testament to his enduring love for the art form and his unwavering commitment to his craft. For his devoted fans, Jimmy Roselli's legacy remains strong. Despite the twists and turns of his career, he will forever be cherished as a unique and captivating artist who emerged from the streets of Hoboken, leaving an indelible mark on the world of music and captivating the hearts of those who appreciated his distinct voice and passionate performances. The imagery of Roselli taking the stage with his grandfather's words, "Cante, Guaglione, cante, sing, little one, sing," echoes as a reminder of the indomitable spirit that propelled him forward. While often relegated to the sidelines of history, Jimmy Roselli's journey is a testament to a man who wrestled with shadows, both of legends and the darker aspects of reality, to carve a space for his voice to resound. Sammy Davis Jr. In 1957, the entertainment world was abuzz with the rising star of Sammy Davis Jr. His remarkable performance in Mr. Wonderful on Broadway and his success with the Will Maston Trio, a popular nightclub act featuring his father and uncle, showcased his undeniable talent and charisma. Remarkably, Davis had made this comeback despite a devastating car accident 3 years earlier, which had left him permanently blind in one eye. The accident did nothing to diminish Davis's charm and allure. In fact, his star power only seemed to intensify, catching the attention of Hollywood actress Kim Novak. Novak, poised to star in Alfred Hitchcock's iconic film Vertigo, was captivated by Davis's performance at a Chicago nightclub. Though their initial interaction was brief, Davis's interest in Novak was unmistakable. Davis's friends, including Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, facilitated their meeting by inviting both of them to a gathering at their home. The mere speculation of a romantic involvement between Novak and Davis ignited gossip columns, with anonymous mentions of which top female movie star, KN, is seriously dating which big-name entertainer, SD. Sammy Davis Jr., being a black man, had encountered resistance to his relationships with white women before. However, his connection with Novak carried unique significance due to her status as a Hollywood movie star. Novak was on the cusp of superstardom, with films like The Man with the Golden Arm and Pal Joey propelling her to the ranks of Hollywood's leading ladies. Studio executives at Columbia Pictures saw her potential to replace the iconic Rita Hayworth, a decision that could potentially translate to millions in revenue. Their relationship, despite its personal significance, unfolded against the backdrop of a deeply divided and racially charged society. The romance between the charismatic entertainer and the rising Hollywood starlet carried the potential to challenge societal norms, making it a story that intertwined love, fame, and the complex dynamics of an era marked by racial tension. Their affair unfurled over much of 1957, carried by an undeniable chemistry and a shared understanding of the risks they were taking. The very notion of their relationship being forbidden added an exhilarating edge. Davis described their connection poignantly in his autobiography. "She hadn't thought about me any more than I had thought about her, until it was forbidden. Then we became conspirators, drawn together by the single thing we had in common, defiance." Arthur Silber, a close friend and confidant of Davis, often found himself playing the role of chauffeur, discreetly ferrying the couple to a rented beach house in Malibu. To keep their relationship hidden, Davis resorted to lying down on the car floor, concealed beneath a blanket to avoid being seen scene with Novak. Their cloak and dagger efforts even extended to communication. Davis went as far as installing a private phone line at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas, where he often performed, to ensure their conversations remained private. Despite the secrecy, their love story deepened, with Davis missing Novak profoundly during her trip to Chicago for the holidays. His longing was so intense that he arranged a surprise visit to her and her family. However, the shadow of societal prejudice loomed large. When news of their connection reached the media, it had the potential to not only impact their careers, but challenge prevailing racial norms. Interracial relationships faced vehement opposition in the racially charged landscape of 1950s America. Yet, Davis and Novak's defiance against societal norms only intensified their bond. Behind the scenes, studio executives exerted their control over Novak. Harry Cohn, the formidable head of Columbia Pictures, saw Novak's potential to become a major star and didn't take kindly to her association with Davis. Their relationship threatened the studio's investment in Novak, leading to a tumultuous turn of events. Cohn's fury was the catalyst for a dangerous spiral of events. Amidst rumors of a mob hit orchestrated by Cohn, Davis turned to gangster Sam Giancana for protection. Giancana's influence offered a degree of safeguarding, but the looming threat weighed heavily on Davis. According to reports from a Vanity Fair article, Davis's relationship with Novak sparked the ire of the Mafia, with Mickey Cohen, a notorious gangster, delivering a chilling ultimatum to Davis's father, Sammy Davis Sr. Supposedly, Cohen conveyed that he had received orders from Chicago. Unless Sammy Davis Jr. married a woman of color within 24 hours, dire consequences would follow. This threat was rooted in the racial tensions of the time, as interracial relationships were met with widespread opposition and hostility, particularly from organized crime figures who had their own interests at stake. The origins of this threat are believed to be tied to Harry Cohn, a powerful studio executive heavily invested in Novak's success. Cohn, who was reputed to have connections to the mob, wanted to safeguard Novak's marketability, fearing that her association with a black man, even one as beloved as Davis, would tarnish her image and impact her box office appeal. This fear of interracial relationships was deeply ingrained in the societal norms of the era, and Cohn's supposed connections to the Mafia provided a dangerous means of enforcing his wishes. The situation escalated further when Davis's friends and associates, including Arthur Silber Jr. and Cy Marsh, revealed that Davis's life was in immediate danger. The threat allegedly went beyond a mere warning, with claims that there was a contract out for Davis's injury, possibly involving breaking his legs and blinding him. Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli, born Francesco Stephen Castelluccio on May 3, 1934, is a prominent American singer known for his unique voice and influential contributions to the music industry. As the lead vocalist of the Four Seasons and a successful solo artist, Valli's career has spanned decades and left a lasting impact on the pop and rock genres. While celebrated for his musical talents, Valli's story also includes connections to individuals associated with the Mafia, adding a layer of intrigue to his journey. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, Valli's early life was marked by a passion for music. He joined a variety of local singing groups and gained valuable experience performing at clubs and venues. His exceptional falsetto voice set him apart, and by the early 1960s he had established himself as the lead vocalist of the Four Seasons. Frankie Valli had some connections to people associated with organized crime. Bob Gaudio was one important friend in the same music group, the Four Seasons. Gaudio knew Joe Pesci, an actor in Mafia movies. Through Pesci, Gaudio met Tommy DeVito, another member of the Four Seasons who had ties to organized crime. Tommy DeVito had a history with the law and knew people connected to the Mafia. DeVito's ties to organized crime were notably present during his early years in the music industry. He had affiliations with mobsters and individuals associated with criminal activities. But it's also important to know that where they grew up, the neighborhoods had social networks that went beyond music. So these connections might have been more about their surroundings than anything else. The Four Seasons, initially comprised of Frankie Valli, Bob Gaudio, Tommy DeVito, and Nick Massey, burst onto the music scene with their first hit single, Sherry, in 1962. The song's infectious melody and Valli's soaring vocals signaled the arrival of a new era in pop music. The group's harmonious sound, blending elements of doo-wop, rock, and pop, resonated with audiences and propelled them to the forefront of the music industry. Hits continued to pour in, including chart toppers like Big Girls Don't Cry, Walk Like a Man, and Dawn, Go Away. The Four Seasons music was characterized by catchy hooks, relatable lyrics, lyrics and Valli's unparalleled vocal range. Their songs captured the essence of teenage life and love, earning them a dedicated fan base and widespread acclaim. As a solo artist, Frankie Valli achieved further success with his rendition of the classic song Can't Take My Eyes Off You. His emotive performance and undeniable charisma solidified his status as a musical icon. Valli's ability to convey emotion through his voice resonated with listeners, and his songs often became anthems of love and longing. Beyond his musical accomplishments, Valli's impact extended to the stage. He starred in the Broadway musical Jersey Boys, which chronicles the story of the Four Seasons. The show's success not only showcased Valli's enduring popularity, but also introduced his music to a new generation of theatergoers. However, alongside his musical achievements, Valli's connections to individuals linked to organized crime have added a layer of intrigue to his story. Throughout his journey, Frankie Valli's commitment to his craft and his fans has remained unwavering. His performances continue to captivate audiences, and his voice, often referred to as one of the greatest instruments in pop history, remains instantly recognizable. In recognition of his contributions, Frankie Valli was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Four Seasons in 1990. His influence on subsequent generations of artists and his ability to transcend genres and decades solidify his legacy as a true musical legend. Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett, the legendary crooner, also had encounters with the Mafia that became part of his colorful history. Born Anthony Dominic Benedetto, Bennett's rise to fame was accompanied by both his musical talents and unexpected associations with organized crime figures. In his early career, Bennett performed at various nightclubs and venues where Mafia figures were known to frequent. These venues often had connections to the criminal underworld, and it's reported that Bennett was aware of the presence of mobsters in his audience. However, it's important to note that Bennett himself was not involved in criminal activities. Rather, his performances attracted a diverse audience, including those with ties to organized crime. One notable figure in Bennett's early career was mobster John "Johnny" DioGuardi. DioGuardi was known for his involvement in labor unions and organized crime activities, and he allegedly helped Bennett secure early gigs at some of the venues he controlled. While Bennett interacted with DioGuardi and performed at places where his influence extended, there's no substantial evidence to suggest that Bennett was directly involved in criminal dealings or endorsed such activities. Bennett, often mentioned in the same breath as Frank Sinatra, belongs to the illustrious class of Italian-American crooners who defined the music landscape of the 1950s. Sinatra and Bennett shared a deep mutual respect for each other's craft, with Sinatra once declaring Bennett as the best singer in the business, capable of truly capturing the essence of a composer's intent. Their friendship was characterized by admiration and camaraderie, and Bennett's clean-cut, uncontroversial public image stood in stark contrast to Sinatra's more tumultuous associations, including his documented connections with the mob. However, even though Bennett's reputation was largely pristine, he was not entirely untouched by the pervasive influence of organized crime within the music scene of the 50s. In the biography, All the Things You Are, The Life of Tony Bennett by David Evanier, the singer's journey is meticulously explored. The book delves into Bennett's triumphs, including his wartime service in the 1940s and his active involvement in the civil rights movement during the 1960s. It also peels back the layers to reveal some of his struggles, such as his battles with substance abuse in the 1970s, and notably, his interactions with the mob during the early stages of his career. The music landscape of the 1950s was often intertwined with the influence of organized crime figures. Evanier's biography sheds light on how Bennett, like many of his contemporaries, received a boost to his career from mob financing, and the doors it opened to exclusive nightclubs. The undeniable truth was that the mob held significant sway over the music industry, capable of making or breaking artists. Bennett's rise to fame was, to some extent, facilitated by his interactions with Al Capone's mob family, which helped secure financing and access to prestigious venues. However, Bennett's association with the mob was not of his choosing, and he sought to distance himself from their influence. According to the biography, he managed to loosen these ties by reportedly paying a substantial sum of $600,000 to the mob in the late 1960s, a step that significantly reduced their hold on him. From the glitz and glamour of the entertainment world to the shadowy dealings of the underworld, these connections reveal the intricate threads that wove their stories together. Through triumphs and challenges, these artists navigated a complex web of relationships, leaving an indelible mark on both the music scene and the annals of history. As we reflect on these intriguing chapters, we are reminded that the stories of these artists and their brushes with the underworld serve as a reminder of the multifaceted nature of fame, success, and the human experience. Love interesting stories like this, which venture into the depths of famous personalities. Click on the video shown on screen to keep watching such intriguing stories.